This video, for example 1, we need to state the center vertices, foci, and then find the equations for the asymptotes. We actually don't have to graph this right now. This is kind of leading up to that point. So when I look at these equations, first of all, it totally is going to be a hyperbola. We've got each term being squared and then a minus sign in the middle. What I'd like to do first is just find the center. So the center for this one is just going to be 0, 0. There's no other numbers here by the x and the y. The second thing I like to do is I like to figure out which direction this thing opens. So if I were to just make a kind of a quick sketch up here, I just like to do this to help remind me which way it opens. I can see that the x term here is first, which means it's going to open in the x direction. So it's going to look something like this. So we'll just keep that in mind. The next thing to do is figure out your values of a, b, and c. A is the square root of 25, or 5. B is the square root of 144, or 12. It's a little bit different than an ellipse. With an ellipse, b will be smaller than a all the time, but with a hyperbola, that just doesn't hold true. A could be smaller than b, or a could be bigger than b. Either way, no problem. To find c, what we need to do is take the square root of a squared plus b squared. So in this case, we've got c being equal to the square root of 169, which happens to be 13. We need to find the vertices, then the foci, then find the equations for the asymptotes. To find the vertices, we're going to go right from our center. We know that it opens left and right, so we're going to be changing the x part of the center. We're going to change it by a. So this is going to be 5, 0, and also negative 5, comma 0. After that, we need to find the foci. So the foci, we're going to go right back to our center. We know we're going to be changing the x value. The foci are maybe going to be here and here, so all we're doing is moving left and right. From the center, if we go right by c, that will get us to 1, so that'll be 13, 0. And we need to go left by 13 as well. To write the equations of the asymptotes, all we're going to do is we're going to write down the y part first. It's y minus 0, or just y, is equal to, now we need to write the slope. We're always going to have two asymptotes, so we're going to have both a positive and negative value of the slope. And in this case, b squared is underneath y, and b is 12. So that would be plus or minus 12 over a. A is underneath the x part right here. So always just do whatever number here is on top will be the value, that the square root of whatever is underneath the y term, wherever the y term is. And then on the bottom, you're going to do whatever's the square root of whatever's underneath the x term, so that's going to be 5. And then we don't actually need parentheses here. If we had anything else going on with the x, we would, but we would have just parentheses x minus 0, or just parentheses x, so we actually don't need them, and so we're all set.